Have you ever felt like you're talking to a wall? Like you're pouring your heart out in prayer, but all you get back is silence? I want to share a story with you, a story about a man in his 50s named John. John was a good man, a hardworking man. He'd spent his life building a career, providing for his family, doing everything right. But then, the unexpected happened. His company downsized, and suddenly he was out of a job. At first, John was optimistic. He polished his resume, sent out applications, and networked like a pro. He had decades of experience, a solid track record. He thought, I'll find something new in no time, but weeks turned into months. He went on interview after interview. The feedback was always polite but firm. You're overqualified. We're looking for someone at a different career stage. What they really meant, he knew, was that he was too old. Companies didn't want to pay a decent salary for a middle-aged man when they could hire someone younger for half the price. His savings started to dwindle. The weight of his family's future pressed down on him. Every morning, he would pray. He'd get on his knees and beg God for a breakthrough, for a sign, for just one open door. But the silence was deafening. The rejection letters kept piling up. He started to feel a deep sense of despair, a feeling that God had abandoned him. "Where are you?" he'd whisper into the darkness of his room. "Don't you hear me? Don't you see I'm trying my best?" He felt invisible, not just to the world, but to the one he had placed his faith in. One night, at his lowest point, John sat alone, staring at the stack of bills on his table. He felt completely broken. He closed his eyes, and instead of praying for a job, he just prayed for peace. He prayed for strength. He simply said, "God, I can't do this anymore. I give up. I'm in your hands." In that moment of surrender, a profound sense of calm washed over him. He didn't hear a booming voice from the heavens, but a gentle thought settled in his mind, as clear as day. It was a verse he'd known his whole life, but it suddenly felt brand new. For we walk by faith, not by sight. It hit him like a lightning bolt. All this time, he had been focused on what he could see, the rejection letters, the dwindling bank account, the closed doors. He was walking by sight, and his sight was telling him he was a failure. But faith was about trusting in what he couldn't see. Faith was believing that even in the silence, God was working. Even in the darkness, a plan was unfolding. He realized his prayers weren't unanswered. He just wasn't listening for the right answer. He was asking for a job, but God was trying to give him strength. He was asking for a way out, but God was trying to teach him how to walk through the storm. He started to see that every closed door wasn't a rejection from God, but a redirection. Maybe the path he thought was right wasn't the path God had for him. From that day on, John's perspective shifted. He still applied for jobs, but he did it with a different heart. He wasn't desperate anymore. He was faithful. He started volunteering at a local community center, using his skills to help others who were struggling. He found joy in service, a purpose that wasn't tied to a paycheck. He began mentoring younger people, sharing his wisdom and experience. He wasn't walking by the sight of his circumstances, but by the faith that Jesus was with him, holding him up and protecting him. And then something amazing happened. Through his volunteer work, he met someone who was starting a new consulting business. They were looking for a partner, someone with experience and wisdom, someone who knew how to navigate challenges. It wasn't the corporate job John had been chasing, but it was something better. It was an opportunity built on his true worth, not his age. He wasn't just an employee, he was a founder. John's story reminds us that our darkest moments are often when our faith is forged. When you feel like your prayers are hitting the ceiling, remember to walk by faith, not by sight. God's silence is not his absence. It's an invitation to trust him more deeply. He is with you, holding you and guiding you, even when you can't see the path ahead. Be strong, keep the faith, and know that your breakthrough is coming. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories of hope and inspiration.